Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of NBA Picks and Props. Do not hit refresh and adjust. I am not Dexter Henry. He is out, DNPCD. You know, it's like out of a back-to-back. It's tough for him to come out here and do it 2 nights in a row, so we give him the night off. But I am not alone. I'm joined by my friends in that backpack broadcasting crew. First up, we have staff writer for Deadspin and co-host of the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast and Miami Heat super duper fan, Bryan Fonseca.
And I'm so glad that I don't have to talk about fucking James Harden today.
No, you will. Oh, don't worry.
Still?
We talking about James Harden.
Oh my God, I've written about him like 6 times in the last month.
Yeah, now you gotta talk about him.
You know what I'm saying? Like enough. He's probably all things considered, he might be a great dude. I don't know. I just, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. He got traded. He spoke. Whatever. Like.
And someone else who I know shares your enthusiasm for James Harden. He is a writer for The Undefeated. He also co-hosts the Bill Rhoden on Sports podcast with the now Hall of Famer, William C. Rhoden, Jamal Murphy. Yo, Murph, how long did Harden have us waiting on that press conference today?
Oh, no, I fell asleep. I changed from the computer to the phone, to the computer to the phone, like 8 times. You know what I'm saying? He finally came out, though. He was looking fresh with the beard. The beard's still there.
Yo, what kind of beard oil you think that dude uses, man? Because that shit is like, it's pristine, man.
He got the oil. He might have some, some tracks in there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's all his. You know what I'm saying?
I can't go that far.
Me neither.
You get to a certain point, it just pisses you off. It gets itchy. You get shit caught in there.
Y'all at least got facial hair. I can't even do that. So
I think you could.
Bro.
It's somewhere.
It's somewhere in there.
Trust me, I know. I can't do shit.
Just get James to send you his little beard growth oil, and you'll be all right.
As always, folks, thanks for tuning in. You know, smash that subscribe button, man. We want you guys tuning into the Props Network. We got a bunch of great shows on here. We're gonna have our buddy Jamoke Davis on a little bit later to talk about games tonight. But first, guys, the New Jersey Nets, look at me. The Brooklyn Nets, they have decided we're going all the way in with this James Harden trade. And that had me thinking, well, if they going all in, we should go all in. So the Nets have decided we're getting James. We win in this title. By the way, 538 has them as an 18% chance of winning the NBA title, which, by the way, that's second in the league, only behind the Lakers with a 24% chance. So, it is what it is, right? Now, that means they have an 82% chance of not winning the NBA championship. So one is more likely to happen. You guys smart at home with your math. You know what that is. So I wanted you guys to think about, if you're going to go all in on something, what is that one bet, like the Brooklyn Nets saying we're going all in for a title? Or what's that 2 bet? Or what's that parlay that you're like, nah, I am all the way in on this, and I'm going to bet the farm? Bryan, I'm going to lead off with you.
The vaccine.
The vaccine, what, working?
Yeah, I hope so. I've got a couple family members that have taken it. They feel great. My brother got the boost the other day. He said his arm was a little sore, but he also worked out that day, and now he's good.
He's good money.
In all seriousness, that would actually probably be my answer. In all seriousness,
you ain't getting great odds on that though, probably.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna table that for.
Depends what part of the country you're in.
You're right, and who you be around. But as far as the NBA goes, like, we're going to talk about James Harden. I'm not just so confident that it's going to work in the way that people hope and envision, and I actually think it'd be very entertaining if it doesn't, for other reasons. But I would think that my bet would be to just go on the other side of that, because I'm just not totally confident that at the end of this season, they'll be the champions. So if I had to go all in on a bet, that would probably be it.
All in, Brooklyn Nets not winning the NBA.
It's like, if you get Brooklyn or the field, just take the field. You know what I mean? Take the field.
Come on, Bryan, go on a limb here, man. Give us a little something.
All right. They'll be out in the second round of the playoffs.
Wow.
And you're going all in on it.
Well, all in on that. But guess what, though? I bet you get pretty good odds on that. Brooklyn out in the conference semis?
My net worth ain't great yet. You know what I mean? So
with this bet, it could be good.
Right. You know what I mean? But look, that's the thing. Like, the Eastern Conference, though, is really loaded. I still, they got James Harden. I don't know if they've solved any of their problems. I still think Joel Embiid, if he's focused as he has been so far this season, we like you and I, Jarod, were on the same page as Joel Embiid last year. We're like, yo, when is he gonna figure this out? And he's putting up great numbers, but when is he going to be like the top 5 guy that he should be? Maybe even higher than that. And so far this year, he's been an MVP candidate. I wouldn't say he's the front runner necessarily, but he's right. Like he's right in the mix. And the Nets necessarily have an answer for that. If Ben Simmons is focused, I don't know if they have an answer for that. They have a much better coach now than Brett Brown. Boston, they think Kemba Walker's going to be healthy. And, well, we need Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to see them healthy again, too. I feel like they're going to figure something out. I think Miami's going to figure something out. I think Milwaukee's going to be better. I'm not so confident. And that's 5 teams right there if you include Brooklyn. And then Indiana, who you and I, Jarod, we both really like.
Shout out to Karis LeVert.
Brogdon, Sabonis, Karis LeVert, Miles Turner, who's still there. They're all under control for not just this year, but a couple years after. So they're going to be building some sort of continuity. And we've seen LeVert play for years. We know that he's going to go in there and he should fit out pretty seamlessly, especially if he's coming off the bench. You have 6 good teams in the Eastern Conference that, like, I don't think you just put this team together, don't have much of a bench, and it's like, oh, talent wins. Like, people say, oh, talent wins in the NBA all the time. And it's like, we just saw a few months ago that the Miami Heat, who were not the most talented team in the Eastern Conference, went to the finals. Like,
Indeed. You make all valid points, Brian. The one thing I will say, though, is that, damn, good luck trying to guard Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant.
Do we know 2 things? Do we know if Kyrie's going to play again?
Saturday, baby.
Okay. Like, you know,
we don't know about Sunday or Monday, but we know about Saturday.
and then the other thing, the other variable of this is, it's like, at some point, James Harden has to, like, the fall is going to be substantial, right? At some point, he has to take a fall. Kyrie's probably going to get hurt at some point, unfortunately. And Kevin Durant is going to be resting in and out, and we don't know if he'll re-aggravate something. Like, there's just so many injury variables with them. And if you're a team that's betting on this top-end talent, if one of those guys goes down, then, you know, you might be screwed.
Folks, I want to add a little caveat. Brian has spent years as a Nets beat reporter, and he hates Nets fans. So that's
not true.
That's a lot of where it's coming from. Shout out to our guy, Eric Chang, though. They got to guard someone, too. Eric, they do got to guard someone. Who the hell are they going to guard? That's an excellent point. Murph,
yeah.
What are you going all in on? Just like Sean Marks said, I'm pushing my chips in the middle of the table, baby. We going in for a title. What you going in all in on?
Well, first I'll say, I'm not mad as Sean Marks, for going all in. I mean,
8 draft picks.
Talent wins in the NBA. We know this. 3 guys of this caliber, offensive talents. I'm not even sure we've seen this. So I give him a good shot. Would I go all in on the Nets winning? No. But I'm not mad at them at all. And, we all cover the Nets, so it's more for us. It's just more content, more entertainment. I'm all for it. Okay. And as for the NBA in general, I'm not ready to go all in on anything from what I've seen in the NBA this year. It's just too crazy. There's nothing. So I'm gonna take it to another sport where I am ready to go all in, and that's you guys know I'm a college basketball dude.
Oh, here we go.
I'm going all in on Gonzaga. Woo! I've seen them to win the whole thing and go undefeated. I've seen them as a plus 350 to win the NCAA championship. I think those are great odds for them. This is the best team I've seen in a long time. Very balanced, a lot of talent. They have a lottery pick in Jalen Suggs on the team. They got 2 or 3 other guys who I'm pretty sure you'll see in the NBA in the next couple of years. So that's what I would do. Go over to college basketball, hop on the Gonzaga Bulldogs bandwagon, and put all your money on that. That's what I would do.
See that, folks? That's what we doing out here. We're trying to help you win money.
It's all about the money.
Murph just
not the sport.
Yeah, forget about the sport. About the money. We out here. We said it, Gonzaga, baby. And guys, you know where you can find all this information? thepropsnetwork.com. See, on the NBA channel, you're /NBA. That's where we get all that stuff. But if you want to look at our odds tool, right, for other sports, look at MLB, NFL. It's all there. I'm going all in on something, guys. And like Murph, I'm going away from the NBA. It's a parlay. Y'all already know. I'm back and I'm excited. Mets to win the World Series, Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, parlay, book it. I'm about to be rich.
Wow.
Yo, let me tell you, when I'm rich, I don't know none of y'all. All right. I'm changing my phone number. I don't know none of y'all dudes once I make that money.
I love the Mets, boy. I'm right there. I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'll put all my money on it, but I'm all for it.
I mean, you know what I said last week when they got Francisco Lindor, how I opened the show. Like,
Listen.
so I'm all, I love that part of, I mean, I don't know who's beating the Chiefs either. So I actually might join you in that parlay. If I'm being totally honest.
We're trying to win. And I think with the Nets, with the Mets, pardon me. And Sam, if you could pull up a little graphic here, I believe we're plus 300 right now. So you're still getting 3-1 odds early on the Mets winning the World Series. Look, ownership is the big key here. Steve Cohen got all the money and he's trying to win. All right. He ain't broke boys like the Wilpons. He got that money, or like someone Fertitta. Imagine that. How the hell are you a billionaire and you a broke boy? But that's a conversation for a different day.
That's why they're gonna flip Victor Oladipo, by the way.
They definitely can.
They don't want to pay him.
It is Friday night in the NBA, so you guys know what that means. We're gonna talk about these picks, and we're gonna bring in another host of a show here on the Props Network, Jamal Davis, host of Just Sport, and now I know he's got something to say about James Harden. So, Jamal, what do you have to say about James Harden? By the way, first, you of the Washington Wizards fame, who, well, again, at least you got Bradley Beal who's leading the league in scoring.
Yeah, we do have Bradley Beal leading the league in scoring, also leading the league in contact tracing, and caused the entire league to possibly shut down just all because he wanted to say what's up to Jason Tatum. I'm so saddened right now that literally every Washington Wizards game is going to be postponed. And it's not just because of the inauguration, but Donald Trump was like, dang, I was trying to at least go to one game before I'm out of office. Now he can't even go see any NBA basketball, following in the footsteps of Barack Obama.
Man, he don't want to see no basketball. He don't like black people. Oh, sorry, wrong show. Anyway, continue.
The other thing is James Harden. I'm so happy for him going to Brooklyn, because obviously, if you saw on Twitter, he's not just, bringing his talents. He's bringing some of the other talents of Houston that he likes to partake in, and they will also be moving. So the economy in Brooklyn is going up, right? I mean, the boroughs are like trying to find spots to put the clubs in place right next to Barclays Center.
Now, Murph, it's been a while since I've lived in Brooklyn. I don't remember. I mean, I was young when I left, so I wouldn't have been going to these establishments anyway. How were the, shall we say, adult clubs in Brooklyn?
They're not all that in Brooklyn. So Jamoke might have a point right there. He might be upgrading those facilities in Brooklyn. Usually that's it. You got to go to Manhattan to get to see the good stuff out here in New York.
I love it.
Brooklyn's going to become a super spreader in more ways than one.
Yo, I gotta go to this thing because it was hilarious in the presser today. And Sam, pull up that picture of James Harden I put out that I tweeted out today. He was asked by your boy Brian, Bob of Nets Daily, James, at this point in the season, where would you consider your fitness level to be? And James just literally responded, great, and had this cheesy ass smile like it was. Look at that. I was dying.
All black this is with the background. It's slimming. You wear
black. See, everyone knows that black is slimming. Well done, Jamal.
But let's be honest. Harden should be very happy. Of all the places he could have gone, Brooklyn is the best for him, because when it comes playoff time, he has KD there to carry it. Okay, so it's all good. He can continue to choke in the playoffs, and he still might get some victories.
And I love Charles Barkley calling them the Dribble Brothers.
That shit was funny.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, and also to Murph's point, this kind of bails him out of any serious playoff criticism, unless of course they lose. But he doesn't need to sort of be good in those last couple minutes of the game or so. Really, if he's good for the first 40,
right.
whatever.
We got Katie to take it home. We don't need you, James Harden. All good. You can do the 30, 46 minutes. You sit down. We got this from here.
Kyrie too, for that matter.
That would be a playoff. That would be a playoff improvement for if he produced those first 36 minutes. Also, don't get it twisted.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we'll see what happens, because we might be in the middle of Game 5, and it'll be Nets versus Pacers, and then Kyrie just walks off the floor during the third quarter, and then we don't know what happens from there.
I know. Like, y'all know better than me. Like, you got to tell me what the heck is going on up there with Kyrie. I don't even understand. It's not from going to a family party, right? I mean, because he was already not playing before that.
Yeah, listen, Kyrie, as everyone who covers this league and talks to people around this league, what's the one phrase you always hear his peers say about him? Man, that's a different kind of dude, right? They all say that to him, man. And it's like he operates and marches to the beat of literally his own drum. Yeah. And you're trying to win titles and count on somebody that can't always be the greatest scenario, but is what it is, man. Is what it is. Now, it's Friday. You know what that means. Tons of games tonight. We're going to start off here with the Dallas Mavericks and Milwaukee Bucks. Two teams many people think can go to the NBA Finals. You get some pretty good odds on them, actually. Now, the line opened for both of these games at -6 for the Bucks. Dallas is having tremendous defensive issues. However, our good friend Kristaps Porzingis is back. That's a good thing for them. Luka Doncic, early MVP talk. So I'm going to start with you, Jamoke. If you were to bet on this game, what do you like? -6, over, under? Where are you at here?
I think if I can look back at what happened last year, the fact that Milwaukee could not beat Dallas in either game, even with, by the way, Antetokounmpo scoring 48 points in one of those games, 34 in the other game. I just think like Dallas, if they are healthy, Doncic wasn't even available for one of those games. I don't know how you don't take the +6 with the Mavericks. They are, in my mind, I think the more solid team. I think that no one is going to be able to guard Doncic. If it wasn't for the fact that we have the issues with a bunch of players, if Josh Richardson and Jalen Brunson, Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell, if they're not going to be able to be back in play, then that concerns me. But for now, the way it stands, I don't know how you can't think that, okay, I'll give it to you. Maybe there's a chance Milwaukee wins, but I think Dallas covers.
And in actually some of the books, Jamoke, we're up to -8 now. So, I mean, look, I'm with you there. Milwaukee, while they have been playing better, if you look at some of the advanced stats, they're starting to separate themselves a little bit from the rest of the teams in terms of net rating. But something about this Dallas team, and for whatever reason, I like that. Last 2 times, couldn't beat them. Go to you, Brian. Where are you at with this game?
For some reason, Dallas has been defending at a really high level. And that's something that I didn't expect, especially after last year. They couldn't really stop anybody. And this has been without Kristaps Porzingis, who, you assume will help in some regard, especially on the interior. They're allowing the second fewest points per game so far. I think they're 4th in defensive rating or something to that effect. They're right now basically a top 2 to 4 defense in the NBA. And they're facing Milwaukee, and maybe scheduling has something to do with that because we've seen them play Denver. We've seen them play, other teams. They destroyed the Clippers that was sort of inexplicable also. But I just think that, like, when it comes to the Mavs specifically, I'm generally expecting Luka Doncic to have a big night as far as betting goes, right? I'm generally expecting Tim Hardaway Jr., who's actually been pretty reliable, to have a decent night. So if you want to just sort of do a parlay with the two of them there. Porzingis is a little too early for me because he just got back. Milwaukee, I love Giannis to have a big night tonight. He was actually somebody that I picked in a DFS write-up that I had this morning to have a big night. Even on his last game, he sort of had a lukewarm triple-double. And it's 22, 10, and 10 because we hold them to this high standard, at least in the regular season, of doing these things sort of effortlessly. So I would say that Milwaukee probably wins, but I actually think it could be a very close game, tighter than 6 or 8 points or whatever the spread is.
Murph, where you at? Murph, where you at?
Yeah, the line I saw was the Bucks -7.5. It's a stay away game for me, first of all, because I don't trust the Bucks all that much, especially right now, early in the season. The Mavs have been kind of up and down, but Luka has kind of played himself back into shape. He was looking like James Harden, for the first couple of games, but recently I see he's slimmed down a little bit. I guess he's that good. He can just wait for the season to start to get himself in shape, but he's done it. So he looks better. Like you all said, Porzingis is back, but he didn't do much his first game. I don't really expect him to do all that much the second game back. But like I said, I expect Luka to at least keep it close. So if I had to pick, I would take the Mavs at +7.5. Some stats go both ways. The Mavs are 4-0 against the spread the last 4, but the Bucks are 5-0 against the spread last 5 after and against the spread loss. So there's really not much there either way. So I'm betting on Luka to have a big game and to keep the game close. But I think the Bucks will win.
Yeah, I like what all you guys are saying, and I'm agreeing. I actually do bet this game, and as I mentioned earlier, because the Bucks are starting to separate themselves, I actually like them in this game, giving the points. I do think they win this. In terms of props, I do like anything combination of Luka points and assists, right? Leading the game in both those stats. And I think that honestly, defensively, Milwaukee is going to start clamping down on them. So I kind of like them in this one big. It's an ESPN matchup. Giannis will have his points because, he's Giannis. Ain't nobody going to stop him really on the other side. But, I just think that it'll be a Bucks game in this one. I like it. But Luka will go off. Moving on to Murph's favorite team, the Atlanta Hawks. Now, you a Pelicans guy, Murph. Hawks ain't your favorite team. Atlanta Hawks.
I was like, what?
Atlanta Hawks, Utah Jazz. Jazz -6 in this game. Listen, after that hot-ass start, the Hawks are starting to come back down to earth a little bit. I'm going to start with you on this game, Brian. What do you like?
I've been off Trae Young pretty much all season. Just not from a standpoint of I don't think he's good or anything like that, but in terms of just betting, he's just somebody I consistently stay away from, especially if you run down his shooting percentages, which I've had to do for fantasy purposes. Now, he got it together a little bit more last game against Philly, albeit a shorthanded Philly team at that point, but he was 26-8. But before that, he shot 5 of 19. Before that, 2 for 9. Before that, 9 of 22. Before that, 6 of 16, 7 of 21. He was just on a streak of just being inefficient, not getting the foul calls and not getting to the line as much as he was early on in the season. And people were making a big deal about that on Twitter because that happened mysteriously after Steve Nash said what he was doing wasn't basketball. And Steve Nash was right. It's not fucking basketball. But when it comes to Trae Young, I just stay away from that. And with Utah, I don't really know where to go. I guess I can bet on, Rudy Gobert, whatever his plus minus and rebounds is, because I feel like he's just going to out-rebound everybody. And the Atlanta Hawks, other than John Collins and maybe Clint Capella, depending on how he's doing, they don't have anyone that really scares me on the boards.
Eric Chang hit it right there. And Eric, always thanks for watching us. John Collins did hurt Trae's feelings. That's why Trae's not playing. So remember, they had that film session and he said, nah, man, I don't like what Trae's doing with the ball. And Brian, to your point, funny thing there that Steve Nash said about Trae Young not playing basketball. Well, he now has a player on his team who many people think doesn't play basketball, but conversation for a different day. Jamoke, what do you like in this game?
I think it's easy. It's the Jazz. They're on a 3-game winning streak. I mean, come on. What are we really thinking that Atlanta's going to do? Neither one of these teams actually played in the last 2 days because they both were off because of COVID. But I think Donovan Mitchell, he scored 27 points in the rout of the Cavs. They're coming back home. They have a long homestand. I'm sure they're happy to be home. And I think also, even if they're without Joe Ingles, I think when you look at Atlanta, and I do think Trae Young definitely in many ways is overrated, actually, in the discussion for another time. I think any team that has a point guard as their best player is not really that good. Ooh. You can't win if a point guard is your best player unless
Jarod loves that take.
Magic Johnson. That's it. Luka Doncic, but it's rare. And so Trae Young is never going to be able to have this team be on that upper level with any other team unless he gets help. And he's not Steph Curry either. So sorry, Hawks are just a mediocre team. I think they will forever be that. But then when you talk about this contact tracing and the Hawks coach Lloyd Pierce not even be able to be with his team and half of the team being able to had to be left in Phoenix because of this, I just feel like they're just in disarray. The Jazz are 1-2 at home. I think they'll win tonight, be 2-2, and extend that winning streak to 4.
Jamoke, spicy takes over there.
By the way, as a former point guard at a much, much lower level. Hold on. I actually agree because I knew anytime one of our guys, because I was usually the second or third best player, anytime one of our better guys or the best guy went down and it was me, nah, son, I'm not that dude. You know what I mean? I know my role.
It's too much work for a point guard. You can't be the leading scorer and you got to get the other guys going. It just doesn't work as a flow.
Right. Look. I was giving you 10 points, 7 assists, 3 steals. I was an asshole on defense. That was it. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to over here, 20 would happen once in a while, but nah. And at my height, no, that ain't happening.
Particularly, Jamoke, if you are a slight point guard, right? Like
Yeah.
that doesn't help your cause.
No,
So I do see your point there. However, I'm in the Kevin Huerter hive, so you're hurting my feelings right now. Murph, what you got? By the way, y'all saw Kevin Huerter on MLK jerseys? We can talk about that. Anyway, Murph, what you got?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Jamoke. You got to go Utah here, -6. Utah 7-4, playing much better as of late. Atlanta's come completely back down to earth. Utah is historically tough at home, even though they're only 1-2 so far this year. It's basically going to, a Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young matchup. I'm going to go with Donovan. He has a little more help on his side going into this one. Like Jamoke said, Utah on a 3-game winning streak. I'll say they continue that and make it a 4-game winning streak.
Yes, indeed. And folks, if you want to get in on this action with us and see how can I compare, Jarod? How can I know which is giving me the best odds? We got it right there in front of you. Look up thepropsnetwork.com/NBA. It's all there for you. Listen, there's some good numbers in there. So take a look. All right, now we're going to go to everybody's favorite team, or I guess America's favorite team, the Lakers. Oh, and Murph's favorite team, the Pelicans. So I'll start with you, Murph. Pelicans, Lakers tonight. Listen, Lakers -8.5. Yo, Lakers are out here sleepwalking through games because they can, because they're so damn good it don't matter. I believe Zion is out of health and safety protocol tonight. It ain't gonna matter. What you gonna do with LeBron James and Anthony Davis? What you got, Murph?
Yeah, of course, I'm gonna roll with New Orleans in this one. Give me the +9 or 8.5, whatever it is. You got Zion is back, like you said. Thank God for me. Now I can watch basketball and be entertained. He dodged the COVID bullet. I'm very happy for him.
Are we sure it was a COVID bullet or was it a beignet bullet? We sure.
I don't know how you hate on Zion. He's just a nice guy, always smiling. I don't know what's wrong with people out here hating on Zion. But anyway, if you're gonna hate on someone from New Orleans, it might be Stan Van Gundy so far because he's been kind of disappointing. They're on a 4-game losing streak. The offense looks mighty shaky despite the many offensive options they have. But I predict, the Lakers are strong, 10-3, 4-game winning streak. But I predict this will be a closer game. I think New Orleans will test them. Lakers probably still win, but the Lakers in the last 6 games only 2-4 against the spread at home. I think the Pelicans can keep it close.
Jamoke.
I think that LeBron James, similar to when Dennis Schroeder, when he hit that 3 right in front of the bench and then turned around and said, bet. Well, I'm sure with the New Orleans Pelicans before the game, he's just like, oh, we're going to win. Okay, bet. It's over. Like there is no game here. I mean, even if Zion comes back, the only thing that you may be able to think about when you say, okay, well, will the Lakers definitely win this game is the simple fact that the Lakers are only 3-3 at home. That's the only thing that is hurting the Lakers. I don't even know why we're even talking about this game. It's a gimme. Let the players go home and rest. Tell Zion, take the night off. There's no way, there's any chance in the world that you're going to win. Let's just call it. Lakers get it. We move on. I mean, come on. It's LeBron James. I mean, think about this. All right? Teams need 3 players to beat 2 now. It's just LeBron and Anthony Davis. Every team is like, we need 3. We need 3 players in order to even have a shot at the championship. Lakers, just hand the championship, actually. Just go ahead.
Jamoke out here wilding. By the way, according to 538, the Lakers have a 24% chance of winning the NBA title. So, I mean, it ain't like it's 100%. It ain't guaranteed. All right, what you got, Brian? Excuse me.
So I pretty much agree as far as the Lakers winning. I'm looking at a couple of player sort of centric things, and there's a couple of guys that I would throw a little bit, maybe $1 or $2, just to see if they could actually live up to what I think they can do tonight. I'm gonna pick one from each team. One of them being Talen Horton-Tucker, who actually had a really good game recently, who's cooled off a little bit, but he's in the rotation, starting to get some minutes now. He was 17 points against Houston the other day, went 7 for 8, but then after that against Houston, only shot 1 for 8. I would like him to have a great game. And then Josh Hart, who is actually 8 points a game and 8 rebounds a game. Not somebody I've always thought of as like this great rebounding guard or whatever. He's had a couple double doubles this year. Excuse me. He's somebody who I would like to probably put $1 on. Josh Hart double-double and see how much that gets you, because I'm sure the odds for that will be very, very friendly in your favor. As far as the actual game, I'm not betting against the Lakers. I will say that Anthony Davis has not been quite as good as I expected so far this season. LeBron's actually been better than I expected so far this season, which is interesting because I think a lot of people saw this going in the other direction where the team would kind of start to turn over this year, but that hasn't happened. So I'm staying away from player props for Anthony Davis until further notice. But anything LeBron, I mean, look, you can jump on it because the Pelicans are a team that he can get a triple-double against.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you guys on that. Look, the line does scare me a little bit only because the Lakers been sleepwalking lately. We saw that game the other day against Memphis where they decided, all right, in the last minute, I guess we'll try to win the game now. They have a tendency to do stuff like that. That's the only thing that gives me a little bit of hesitance, but I'm with you guys. Lakers here in this game. And in terms of player props, take a look at Zion points and rebounds for your player props there. I think, there might be some extended time for him to get some action. Him coming out of the beignet protocol or the COVID protocol, whichever one it is. And on the Lakers side, I like what you said, Brian. LeBron James triple-double watch. Pay attention. In the chat, we got Elon Cook, not Elon Musk, asking, "What is a Laker exactly?" What is a Laker exactly?
A Minneapolis Laker. That's what it was from.
Yes, the land of 10,000 lakes. Mm-hmm.
There you go, Elon.
Well done.
That name is still whack, by the way.
It is.
I'm with you, Elon.
It is.
It's still a whack name. I don't want to be a fucking Lakers only sounds cool because of what the Lakers have done with that name since they've had it since the 40s or whatever. But in terms of just a name, it's a stupid name. Nets is a dumb name. We can do this all around the league.
Wizard.
Yeah, Wizards not.
Y'all should have stayed with the Bullets, but Javaris Crittenton and Gilbert got,
It's so bad.
Well, here's the problem with that, Jarod. The problem with that, Jarod, is that now, especially now, I'm with you, but now you don't want them to be called the Washington Bullets. Yeah. So. Well, we can leave that there.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Being that, guys, we have Jamoke is a special guest because he is really in tune with the Washington basketball franchise. Jamoke, I'm sure you have a great Gilbert Arenas story you might like to share with us for the group.
I have one of my favorite Gilbert Arenas stories is I will always say that not only was he a superstar NBA player, but he was above and beyond a futuristic thinker. And I remember once I got a call at 8 a.m. and I don't talk to him outside of the arena on a regular basis. He calls me on the phone and said, "Jamoke, I want to talk to you." And I'm like, "Hello, who is this?" "It's Gilbert Arenas." "Oh, okay."
This is great.
Right. Wait, what do you want to talk about? This was while he was injured. He's like, I want to do a show where 24 hours we show my comeback. We're going to install cameras on the practice court, in the locker room, in my house. We're just going to show nothing but me and my comeback. And I was like, "Gilbert, this is brilliant. How'd you get my number, by the way?" "Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter." I said, "Let's go. Let's move forward with this." So I'm like, I put on my thinking cap as a producer, and I'm like, "Oh, we can do this. We can do that. And we're going to have him, talk about what he's going through, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." And I work on this beautiful plan in my head. And then I remembered who was the team president. And it was Ernie Grunfeld. Mm. It was like, "Gilbert, did you talk to Ernie about this?" "No, but he'll be cool. He'll be cool." Man, that thing was shot. Well, I was going to say something I shouldn't say. But Ernie, it was a bullet. He shot it down. He was like, "No. I am not going to allow us to be in a situation where I thought it was brilliant, right? How many players would you, and this was 2008, right? You might see some of that today, but to think back 12 years ago, 13 years ago, we're 2021, you would have never heard of someone allowing a camera into their life 24/7. And that was the kind of mind he had. He just was forward thinking, is always wanted to push the boundaries for better or for worse. That's my Gilbert Arenas story. And, of course, all the other stuff about the popcorn in the shoe. And I got another story. So we show up to Nick Young. And Dominic McGuire were living in Gilbert Arenas' first home. You got millions of dollars. You're like, oh, I don't need that home anymore. I got another home, right? You remember he built the big home with the waterfall, swimming pool, and all that stuff. So we show up for a shoot, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah. What are we doing? Wait, what's on the window? And it was like all of these, what do you call the guns that you shoot with, but not real guns? The
BB guns?
No, with the paint gun, paintball guns. Well, Gilbert Arenas decided to, show up and just kind of mess up his own house and surprise Nick Young and Dominic McGuire while they were sleeping and get him with the paintball guns. And the whole house just was like paint all over all of the windows. I was like, what happened here? We got a shoot to do. And it's like, it's Gilbert's home. You can come whenever you want.
You know what I thought about? Like, I wonder, this is just a question I have. This is just a question I have that none of you are going to have an answer for. But I wonder how big of an inspiration Gilbert Arenas is to Kyrie Irving. And that's it.
Wow. I see where you're going there. I see where you're going there. Wow.
Kyrie is a different cat. But Gilbert did not burn sage around He would
do we know?
No. Well, we do know. He didn't like to show that he worked out and played hard. And yet he would be the one player, 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. Yo, can you have the gym open for me? I got to get my shots up. He was all about basketball, but he wanted to be cool, right? Yeah. He had to be cool. And that was a different thing for him.
So he was Damian Lillard on the court and Kyrie Irving off of it.
Yes. How many players do you know before LeBron did with the bet? Shot the game-winning shot almost from half court, turned around before it went in. And Nick Young embarrassed himself trying to do the same.
That shit was hilarious. I love it, Jamoke. All right, last game of the night that we're going to cover. Kings and Clippers. Now, woohoo, man.
We don't need to spend too long on this.
We won't spend too long. The line's -7 Clippers, although it opened up oddly. Clippers getting 6.5. I guess they must have thought they were on a back-to-back. They're not, or Kawhi wasn't playing or something. It doesn't really matter. Kings have the worst defense in the NBA right now. I'm going to start with you, Jamoke. What do you like in this game?
I don't like their name, by the way. For them to call themselves the Kings, they're really the paupers. I mean, except for when Vlade Divac and Chris Webber, they really have not been very good. My thing is, I'm not a playoff P hater, but he's really just a regular season P. Like, he plays well now, and he's great. He can shoot 51% from behind the arc. But when the playoffs come, I mean, he wants to be Kawhi so much. He's got the braids going. He thinks he's like the second Kawhi, but he's not. And that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the LA Clippers winning this game. You can take the over on points with playoff P, but realistically, I don't see anybody on the Kings that is going to lead to a bright future for them to one day be back where they were as one of the great teams in the West. I like De'Aaron Fox as a player. I like Buddy Hield. You let Bogdanovich isn't on the team anymore, right?
He's in Atlanta.
How much is that hurting this team in what they want to do?
Yeah.
For the future, I just don't see them being a team that you can count on. They're 5-7. Clippers are 8-4. It's the Clippers. They're going to win. Take them at -7. Just take them.
The one thing I will say for the Kings, though, I do like Tyrese Halliburton. they do have that.
Yeah, the other year? Okay. That's a flyer. I'll buy that for $1.
Brian, what you got, Brian?
So a couple things on the Kings. One, I really like Richaun Holmes, who is actually fouling 4.3 times per game, but is still averaging almost a double-double somehow with 2.5 assists, a block, and a steal. So he's just been very consistent lately. You look at his box score, you'll see, or game log rather, 17-11, 16-10, and you only see it in 20-something minutes because he fouls all the time. Like, it's crazy how productive he is despite the fouling. Another thing on the Kings, Travis Scott this morning tweeted out, or this afternoon rather, it's crazy. 3 of my homies really about to get buckets in the same damn jersey. Talking about obviously the Nets, but the Sacramento Kings responded with De'Aaron, Buddy, and Tyrese. Wild. I responded on Twitter with a picture of Marvin Bagley.
Oh boy.
We sort of forget about in this equation. And with the Kings doing that tells me all I need to know about what they think about the dude they drafted 2nd overall, compared to a dude they just drafted in the first round, De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield, who they've been trying to trade secretly, I feel like.
Second overall in front of who? Luka Doncic? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Trae Young.
He's not a head coach. He was riding on that undefeated
Warriors.
So
I give Luke all the blame.
Yeah, I mean, and just to turn this over, all I want to say is, as far as the games, that's really it. I guess Kawhi will have a good night and the Clippers will win, but it's a stay away from me from the standpoint of not whether or not I think this is going to be close or whatever. I just don't care to bet anything Kings basketball related as it relates to their team. Now, for fantasy, for players or for prop bets or whatever, I like Rashawn Holmes. I love Tyrese Halliburton. He's one of my favorite rookies in the NBA this year. But other than that, I don't care to watch the Kings.
Murph, you're up next. Before we go to you, I know Eric Chang locked in Paul George over 34.5 on points, rebounds, and assists. Not bad.
That's fair.
I would take that. Yeah,
regular season P, baby. Go ahead, Murph. What you got?
This is a big time stay away game for me. Of course, you can't trust the Kings, but after last season, I don't trust the Clippers ever. Okay, I'm not trusting the Clippers. Stay away from both these teams. If I had to, I would even take the Kings. That's how much I don't trust the Clippers. The Clippers are 8-4. I get it. They've been winning games, but with only a plus 1.4 point differential. So it doesn't sound like there's much covering going on there. Paul George, like we've mentioned, 25, 6, and 6 so far this year. He's putting up numbers, but I still don't trust him. Give me the Kings plus 7. Fuck that.
Whoa!
Wow.
Betting bomb just went off. Not only did Murph just blow our minds with that, I told y'all Dexter Henry's a DMP CD because he got a rest away for personal reasons. Now here he is in the chat saying, "Let's go Kings." What are you, Kyrie Irving? You away from the team? Now you on Zoom?
He's at a party. He's at a party.
I mean, what you doing, homie? You were away. Now here you at? What's up?
Supporting. You know what I mean? I just want to throw this out there because we just talked about the Wizards. So Tommy Shepard just spoke. He said that 9 players are in health and safety protocols and 6 tested positive for COVID on the Wizards team.
Yep. So shout out to Tommy Shepard.
That's where we at right now, yo.
End of the show. Yeah, listen.
I just don't like the bad juju with Washington. I love my home team. I wish they would have kept Wall. I just feel like, with the momentum of what you were doing, to me, I just feel like it's kind of a wash.
Yeah, man.
At least the way the season is gone, and like all of the positive but somewhat negative publicity for all that went through you getting rid of Wall, I just don't see it. So it's just come on. Let's move on.
It's like Kristaps Porzingis says, stay positive, test negative. That's all the Wizards got to do. That's all the Wizards got to do moving forward. And you make a good point about John Wall because evidently it didn't matter that they traded him because James Harden's already gone, and now that trade was done for nothing.
And not only that, Jamoke, as you know, because you're down there, the Wizards are concerned about this Westbrook injury. That quad, I think, that's going to last a little bit longer than I think people think.
It is. That's the thing. Like now you're ending up with what I was saying with some of my friends on text messages. I was like, guys, that we traded. We didn't trade for Westbrook from Oklahoma City with Kevin Durant and James Harden. We traded for Bubble Westbrook. And Bubble Westbrook was hurt and had a lot of turnovers.
Shooting 28%.
I just don't see it. That's my main issue. Is I just don't see it.
He still knows how to get a triple-double in a loss, though.
He does. That's the thing. That's the other thing, right? I mean, who cares about him if they're losses, right? You want to win games, and he was supposed to change the culture and talking about him being an upstanding citizen, and he's the type of player we want on our team versus John Wall, which, okay, let's not get into the character of a person. In the end, all that matters are the wins and losses. And tell me where the Washington Wizards are right now, at the very bottom of the league. And now, as Elon Cook is backing up, stay positive, test negative. So I'm going to try to stay positive. I've tested negative. Let's go Wizards.
Jamoke, before we let you get out of here, man, you got any props or future bets or anything for tonight that you want to let the people know?
Oh, my gosh. If we go down the list, I say take the Knicks -2.
Listen. Anytime you bet on the Knicks, that's a dangerous proposition. I'm just going to put that caveat out there.
Against the Cavs with Karis LeVert.
Sexland.
Sexland.
I love
out.
Ain't no sex tonight.
Ain't no sex tonight. There you go. I'm thinking about the New York Knicks. Find a way, the New York Knickerbockers to get a win. That's what I like. Now, if you're talking about you want a player bet, I am going to go all in, and I probably shouldn't do this, on my man, the New York Knicks. Now, here's the thing that I like to do is just for fun. I kind of close my eyes and pick first field goal. First field goal in the game. I'm going to say take Isaac Okoro at plus 900.
That's my sleeper for the day. That's one of my sleepers for the day for that game. Isaac, my problem with Isaac Okoro is he gets the minutes, and then you look up at the end of the game, you'll see like 8 points. Like, we gotta pick that up. Sex Landing is not there right now.
I love
it's
it.
It's Jetty Osman, and I think Jared Allen's gonna be there. They have like 10 centers. Like,
and don't forget my guy JaVale McGee. Don't forget my guy who was robbed in the slam dunk contest. He dunked 3 basketballs.
He's gonna
be
basketballs. He's gonna be a buyout candidate at some point and wind up somewhere else in March.
He will.
He'll be on the Nets.
I never thought I'd say that either.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jamoke. As always, friends, y'all know where to find him, the Just for Sport podcast, right here on the Props Network. All right, guys, stay tuned because we got our favorite segment. You got some money to spend. How you going to spend that money? $100. Before we get to that, we've been talking a lot about NBA, and I know. Jarod, we got NFL coming up, my dude. What's up? Don't worry. Props Network got you covered, man. Go to our NFL page. Look at my guy, Joel Wachowski, who is, the sport betting guy. Comedian, funny man. Listen, he has all your picks covered for the playoffs. I already told y'all where I'm going. Chiefs win the Super Bowl. Mets to win the World Series parlay. Make yourself rich. Do that. All right. Now, let's get into that $100 bet. You got, before we go $100, trust or bust. Let's go back to trust or bust. Tonight, what do you guys think? Game high scorer, assists, rebounder. Trust or bust? Who you guys trusting or busting tonight in any of these games? For me, I'm going to start off and say, Luka Doncic, trust most assists in that game versus the Milwaukee Bucks. That's a guaranteed trust. What say you, Murph?
I mean, like we always say, you can pretty much go with Luka in any category on here. So I trust him whether you want to pick him high score, high rebound, or high assist guy. For points, you got to look at Trae Young. He's coming off a good game. He's gonna put the shots up. We know that for a fact. Also, Ingram returning to LA against the Lakers. He can shoot as much as he wants on that team. I would expect him to get at least about 25 shots up. So he could be a guy that leads that entire game in points.
I like that. What you got, B?
For points, you know what? We haven't had the big Donovan Mitchell game yet. We haven't had the game where he's, because he's capable of getting 40 any night, and he doesn't have to often because, Utah's a better team than I think we give him credit for, generally speaking. They're also playing the Atlanta Hawks today, which, they don't scare me defensively. So Donovan Mitchell, who's probably going to have, more rewarding odds than some of the other guys we're going to mention in terms of points. Giannis, Luka, like Giannis is probably the smart bet here and the safest one here, along with Luka is probably one of them two, and they're playing in the same game. But Donovan Mitchell is somebody who his odds are very tempting, and he hasn't quite had that explosion yet. I feel like he's somebody that I would probably back here because I think at some point it just has to come. I think his season high is only 32, which, look, it's still great. But Donovan Mitchell is so good that you just expect him to get 40 fairly regularly. Like every couple weeks you look up and he has a 40-point game, probably with like 7 rebounds and 6 assists because he's that good. So Donovan Mitchell is probably my game high score tonight.
And also, we talked about regular season P. Look, it is the Kings they're playing against. Game high score likely be him because he knows how to do it in the regular season, and it's the Kings, who I've already told you, worst defense in the league. So look out for regular season P as the game high score in Clippers versus Kings. All right, you got $100 to spend. You're trying to make it rich. I already told y'all how I'm going to be rich. Murph, what do you think? $100, how you spending it tonight?
Yeah, so I'm not going to try to get rich tonight. I'm just going to try to win about $50. So I'm going to put the entire 100 on a 5-point teaser. Okay. And I'm gonna take the Bucks, which with a 5-point teaser, they would be now -2.5. So they have to squeak out a 3-point victory. I think they'll do that. I'm pretty confident. It would make Utah -1, and I'll take that. Just get the win, baby. And the Pelicans would only have to come within +14 of the Lakers. And I think they can do that. They can lose by 10, and I'll be happy. and I can make a quick 150 off this 100.
Oh, look at that, man. I like it. What say you, Brian?
I'm gonna go $49 on a LeBron triple double. Hold on. I got $49 on a LeBron triple double because I actually feel pretty confident about that against New Orleans. I have $1 on a Tyrese Halliburton triple double. He hasn't really had one of those yet, and he's gonna be one of those dudes that it's just gonna come like every so often. Once he develops, like he's gonna be a triple double threat constantly. I'm gonna go $25 that Brandon Ingram actually outscores LeBron James. I'm gonna go $24 that Kawhi Leonard outscores Paul George.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna go $1 on a scuffle between Brandon Ingram and Montrezl Harrell.
Wow, I like that. As you know, guys, if it's Brian, violence definitely gonna be involved.
I don't know if it's COVID because they don't want people touching each other. We haven't had enough like scuffles yet. And I'm like, if y'all touching each other between free throws, y'all could, like at this point, if I'm playing basketball, I'll be pissed. Like, I'm like, the world is different. I got to wear a mask all the time. Like, this shit is annoying. People aren't doing their jobs and the vaccines are coming too slow. Like, I would be on the court and I would be Montrezl Harrell all the time.
It's been interesting, though, right? While we haven't had any scuffles, it looks like guys want to throw down, man. Devin Booker been looking real spicy lately. Like, guys look like they want to, like, beef with somebody. And, I guess when the NBA putting all those restrictions on for the road team, you can't have your jump off coming to your hotel room. Well, you know how that goes. So moving on anyway. My $100, here's what I'm going to do. $25, Luka Doncic, most assists tonight in that game against the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to go 50 on the over Clippers versus Kings. That's 75. And $25 player prop on regular season P, points, rebounds, assists. Shout out to our guy, Eric Chang, here in the chat. Fellas, anything else? Elon Cook asks, what do I bet if I only have $10? If you only got $10, Elon, you shouldn't bet any money. That's
a valid point.
Utah, you take Utah -6 if you have to.
Yeah. If you really must, that's probably the safest. That's probably the safest bet tonight out of anything we discuss. Although if Trae Young explodes and has a game that he hasn't quite had since early on in the season, then you might lose those $10. So beware of that.
You can always lose. Don't get it twisted. You can always lose.
That's a good slogan for gambling, by the way. You could always lose.
You could always lose. But I will say this. Our prop bets have actually been hitting pretty well, folks. You go back and check us out on the YouTube channel, which, by the way, Props Network. Make sure you hit that subscribe if you like the show. We have been hitting with them prop bets. So definitely take a look. You can win some money there. And we appreciate you guys as always. Eric Chang, thank you so much. Regular season pre-pop. Love you, Eric Chang. Good one. Elon Cook, thanks for joining. Dexter Henry doing his best Kyrie Irving impersonation out here in these streets. Not showing up to work, but he out here in the chat comments talking. Anybody else got any more questions they want to share tonight before we wrap things up?
Nah,
guys. Guys are out here trying to save their money. So listen, folks, thank you again so much for subscribing. Again, you know where to find all of us on Twitter, Instagram, all that. And again, please bet responsibility, only for 21 and over. If you or anyone you know is having a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER today, and we will see you guys next week on another episode of NBA Picks and Props.
Peace.